Cleveland's own Fox 8 News in the morning.
Good morning, Cleveland and all of Northeast Ohio. It is a Friday morning, the 21st day of December 2007. Just a few days until Christmas Day. Hi, everybody. My name is Wayne Dawson.
And I'm Kathleen Cochrane. You know, I think we're all giddy. You know how school kids get a little giddy right before Christmas vacation? That's kind of how we all are this morning, isn't it?
Sure. Topping the news on this Friday morning, it could be back to paper and pencil if you go to cast your ballot here in Concord County next year. But what's going to happen to those electronic voting machines that we spent millions of dollars on?
Plus, all the little girl wanted was for her soldier dad to come home for Christmas. Well, there must have been some magic in the air because it came true.
And it's a story that will have you talking all day long. A son goes in search of his birth mother, and she finds out she's a lot closer to him than he could ever imagine. We'll have that story a bit later on this morning. Right now, it's time to check in with Scott to see what's happening weather-wise. Scott, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Good morning, everybody. Everybody's in the mood now for Christmas as we're rounding out the last couple of days until the big holiday weekend, and the weather really couldn't be better. Check this out. We don't have any snow within about a time zone from Cleveland. I mean, look at this. We have some snow up in northern Michigan, but that's heading up into Canada, and some rain to the south heading out into the Atlantic. So we're kind of smack dab in the middle of both, and so that's going to warm us up today into the 40s and probably lower 50s tomorrow. Look at the temperatures. Cleveland 30, Cincinnati at 40, and Charleston, West Virginia 44. So slowly we'll hit 40 to 42 later on today with a mostly sunny start. No travel problems anywhere across Ohio this afternoon. Pat Brady, and now we'll look at traffic. Pat.
Scott, they say all things come to those who wait. Sometimes you have to wait a little longer, but we waited long enough, and the sun is now up above the clouds on the horizon. And you can see it shining down here on the West Shoreway here near West 45th Street. And so if you're going to be an eastbound traveler, good idea to take your sunglasses along this morning. And as you have been saying, weather-wise, there will be trouble-free travel, and there's trouble-free travel everywhere around Cleveland this morning. We haven't had a single incident, and we're on the downhill side right now. For those of you who are going to be heading elsewhere, no matter what interstate you're going to choose this morning, lighter than normal traffic, and absolutely, again, no problems whatsoever. Wayne, Kathleen, back to you.
Pat, thank you very much. Issues with the way residents here in Cuyahoga County vote may be changing soon.
The Board of Elections is split on the best way to cast votes, and now the state's chief elections officer must make a decision. Angel Renko joins us now live with that story. Good morning, Angel.
Good morning to you both. The members of the Cuyahoga County Board of Elections are indeed split on this issue. Two of the members don't believe that the $21 million touchscreen system is up to the task of handling a big election, so they're divided as to whether or not to switch to a new system. Now, our own I-team raised security issues with the Diebold touchscreen system and whether hackers could attack. Just last month, software problems delayed results for the November 6th general election to almost noon the next day. Secretary of State Jennifer Brunner issued a report this week citing those flaws. She wants an optical scan system instead. That's a paper and pencil vote scanned to a computer. The board voted along party lines with two Republican members voting to keep the system, and the Democrats siding with Brunner. At times, the three-hour meeting got a bit heated. One board member expressed no confidence in the current Diebold system.
I want to work with a vendor that is going to come to us when there's difficult times and when there's money to be made. And I want them to come when we call to answer to this board and to answer to the public.
We don't know any of the answers to any of these questions that you're posing now, and they're very fair questions. So to simply make a decision to change and then ask the questions afterwards is having the cart in front of the horse, from my perspective.
The board has 2 weeks to officially report their vote to Brunner. She is expected to break that tie relatively quickly when they do that. Now, the optical scan system will cost the county about $1 to $3 million, depending upon whether or not they rent the equipment that's needed to run that system. It'll also cost them an additional $1.7 million annually to run that system. And with the March primaries coming up, they really do have some big decisions to make as to how they're going to implement this.
Okay.
Right. Got to get it right. Okay.
Police in the state of New Jersey holding a local doctor on charges. He killed a man 25 years ago. I want to take you back to 1982. Somebody murdered the chef at a country club in Atlantic City. 25 years later, the case is still unsolved. But now, armed with new information, detectives tracked down 49-year-old Dr. George Carty in his apartment building in Richmond Heights, and they arrested him. Prosecutors believe Carty, who was 24 at the time, beat 57-year-old John Attenborough to death.
makes me feel kind of funny. You don't really know who your neighbors are. It's kind of strange, but he never bothered me.
Yesterday, Cardi pleaded not guilty to charges of aggravated murder. He's being held in New Jersey on a $500,000 bond.
The owners of a once popular nightclub in the Warehouse District are fighting to keep their liquor license. Several residents and business owners near the Spy Bar on West 6th Street testified at a state liquor control hearing, trying to get the bar's liquor license revoked. They say on certain nights, many of the Spy's patrons are underage troublemakers. Back on July 5th, 4 people were shot near the club. 1 was killed. The Spy's owners say the shooting had nothing to do with their club. They believe neighbors are only upset because most of their customers are black.
They said you're turning the Warehouse District into a ghetto.
The crowd changed considerably when the thrust of the evening was the 21 and under night. This is the whole composition of the neighborhood would change.
It could be several months before a decision is made. Spy Bar owners say their last event will be New Year's Eve, and even if they can keep their liquor license, they plan to reopen under a new name.
Thousands of Giant Eagle customers may just be finding out they were charged twice for their groceries. A sales processor at the supermarket malfunctioned last Friday between 4 and 6 p.m. 400,000 transactions took place during that time, but about 2,000 customers were charged double on their credit or ATM cards. The company has issued a statement this morning. Giant Eagle has been working diligently with the third-party processor to ensure that all customers are fully refunded for their duplicated bill as soon as possible, as well as for any other unintended charges. By the way, Giant Eagle says it has credited the accounts of customers who were affected, but if you think you have a problem, you're being advised to call the store's customer care center.
A 2.5-year investigation uncovers a fraudulent investment scheme that stretched from Summit County to Wall Street. Investigators accuse David Willian of Evergreen Properties of bilking nearly 400 investors out of millions of dollars. He and others were running a conspiracy that sold homes to unqualified buyers, inflated their appraisal value, and then let them go into foreclosure. One of those accomplices ran Carnation Bank. They have already pleaded guilty to more than 20 felony charges.
I have been to some of these meetings. I saw some of these people there, and maybe the amount that they had invested was their life savings. People, let's say, looking at a nursing home or something like that would need that money to support them.
Summit County officials say it's unlikely any of those investors will get any of their money back.
If you're just getting up 7 minutes after 8 o'clock your time right now, when it's 34 degrees outside, we have seen temperatures in the teens and the 20s this week.
But that's not going to be the case for today or tomorrow. Stick around for details on the calm before the storm.
All right, all of you last-minute shoppers, we're only a few days away from the big day, Christmas. Find out which stores are going to be open late as we inch closer to the holiday. Hey, Tom.
Good morning. Phone lines are open here on Fox Unplugged. It's Free for All Friday. Your chance to come up with anything you want to talk about. We'll have those thoughts and comments when we come back.
You're watching Fox 8 News, broadcast in high definition.